beer pong.
We know who's on our board.
I call this meeting to order. If you would, follow along with the Pledge of Allegiance and an invocation.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Artie would like to get the flag.
Father God, we thank you again for this opportunity to gather together to do the work of our city. We pray your blessing and favor over each and every person that's here. We pray wisdom and guidance through your Spirit to each member of our board. And we ask now, Lord, that you help everything that we do tonight honor you, glorify your name, and build your kingdom. In Jesus' name, amen.
Thank you, Artie. We get a roll call vote, please.
Lucas? Denham?
Here.
Cooper?
Here.
Milton?
Here.
Alden? Here. LeBlanc?
Here.
Schultz?
Here.
Your Honor, you have a quorum.
Thank you. We're going to start off this evening with a presentation from Heather on America's 250th year anniversary.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
All right, this is fun stuff we get to talk about. All right, so you've all seen the logo, obviously. We've talked about that. I think the city has it in their possession. They've got some plans already for placing that, hopefully on some water towers. So we are putting it to use already. You have a gift bag in front of you and a cup in there, and we'll explain that in a little bit. All right, so when we talk about our plans for the 250th, we've got some active plans right now that are taking place in 2025. We have started using the logo already, and we'll be getting ready to switch out our email signatures for our organization and having that red, white, and blue logo. We have placement at the Springfield Branson Airport that will begin first week of April. We have a lot of presence there. So since it's the Springfield Branson Airport, it only makes sense that we start promoting Branson in the airport, right? So we've got several murals that will be up. They measure anywhere from 4x7 to 6x12, and there's a lot of them. And we'll have a variety of things in place. One of them specifically will be about Rally Point Branson that's coming up Memorial Day weekend, but the rest of them will be focused on red, white, and blue features with that logo as well. We're working on building out an American Pie Trail, because why wouldn't we have an American Pie Trail? All of the great places that are already serving pie in our community, we'll just easily add a trail that people can go on, check out online, and be entered to win fun prizes. It doesn't cost our businesses anything to participate. They simply are registered with the pie that they serve, and if they want to serve something new and different, a new kind of pie, even better. We can even have a contest for who has the best, apple, cherry, whatever. The options are endless. We'll have merchandise and giveaways for promotion. So you saw the cup inside. We just had a pretty good idea. We were thinking, why couldn't we have a really big beer pong game in Branson with these great cups, right? There's so many fun things. These are really nice cups. These are better than a solo cup. And then Angie, as we were walking in, was like, we could sell those at the convention center. So there's already options with these really fun red, white, and blue cups. The options are limitless. We've engaged the Go Caps program with the high school. So I'll be meeting with the Go Cap students next Monday to have a 2-hour discussion with those students about what do they see the student body being able to embrace with patriotism and celebrating all of 2026. How do we engage our student body population? Because as a parent, We all know that the fastest way to get involved in your community is through your kids, right? Your kids come home, they talk about something that engages your community. And there's something to be said for resident sentiment and what your community feels around an effort or an initiative when it comes to destination marketing. There's studies on it. I've been involved in communities who have taken part in that effort and made sure that the community embraces an action or an activity, it leads to more success. So how do we get our students involved? So we're going to talk about all sorts of different mural projects, but then also essay writing contests that involve sponsorship dollars and scholarship money that would impact our students directly. So many, many more opportunities coming from that. The media, you probably saw the piece that came out in National Geographic online that was simply following up on a lead. You know, we had a lead that came to us that said, looking for 250th ideas across the country. We put that pitch forward and said, Branson's going to be unique. It's unique already in terms of patriotism and celebrating with red, white, and blue. These are the things that are going to be done. She was the journalist that picked up the phone and called me and said, how certain are you? And we said, very certain you can put it in print, and she did. So that was a piece that reached 6.8 million viewers, and the advertising value on that would have cost us approximately 6 figures if we had just bought that space on our own in National Geographic. So media opportunities are coming our way already. We've also signed on with a show on Discovery called RV There Yet? And it's all about, maybe you've seen it, it's a really cute couple that travels in their RV across the country. And they called us and said, we think Branson could be really fun. Well, then when we told them about the 250th efforts, they said, well, we want the whole show to be focused on the 250th efforts. Like, what are you doing, red, white, and blue, that we can bring our RV and park in a campground, well, using the new one, of course, and they would stay here for 4 days. And Mr. Cooper, we volunteered your services to sit campfire and play guitar and sing some songs and be on camera. So
What's the date?
it will be this fall. We will have an exact date for you, and we will work it around your calendar. And it'll be really, really fun to be able to talk about what's coming. What's great about that show is it airs on the Discovery Channel, which we all know the popularity of that channel, but then it also is syndicated across CTV. So the length that show will go is really, really far. It has a very far reach. And on top of that, we have another opportunity that we're actually presenting this week to the TCED board, and that one's for the Balancing Act. It's the Montel Williams show that airs on Lifetime, and that would air twice on the Lifetime channel, but then be syndicated and air at least 500 times. The beauty of that show is they would let us focus on Ozark Mountain Christmas in addition to the 250th efforts. So it's a win-win right there. That piece is an excellent one. We followed up with our TV provider that we buy our connected TV and digital and traditional TV vendor from and said, would you be able to add some analytics into this and measure the results of those connected pieces? And they can. And then they would also be able to serve retargeting ads, so we would get a better bang for our buck and be able to see exactly how much money comes from those pieces that are purchased and the economic impact that it reaches. We bought the 250inbranson.com URL, and then of course we designed the logo that you've all seen. Many destinations and states are using the 250 and then the city name. Someone had already purchased Branson250.com. We don't know who that is, but we thought, you know what, we can just use 250inbranson.com instead and get ahead of it and make sure that people are using it. And even if it isn't a brand new website, but it drives to our existing site with a landing page, that's what we'll do. Then we wanted to show you some concepts, some general concepts of murals that we thought could be really fun. You know, and we did talk to Kathy and Alex both about what are the mural rules, and as long as we're not using logos or business names, then we can focus on art and the statements that we could come up with in terms of patriotism, and the options are really limitless when we start thinking about favorite quotes that we like and red, white, and blue statements and even just pictures in general. and words that ring true to patriotism and what red, white, and blue and freedom mean to all of us. This one, it reminds me a little bit of Metallica, but some people might really like it. It's fun. It's also like one of those red, white, and blue ice pops. I don't know. You could think about, there's so many ideas and possibilities. And, I had the pleasure of having my family visit my son for the first time this last weekend and telling him about this whole story. And we were walking up Main Street as we were leaving a restaurant, and there's a little pocket between one of the buildings, and I was telling him about the pockets of patriotism. And he's like, Mom, right here, you've got to stop right here and let people be able to put their handprints on the wall in red, white, and blue. And there are just so many possibilities that it's really endless. And it really, I think it can be overwhelming at times, but it's so exciting to think about what's to come from this. We start thinking about how we can involve and engage neighborhoods and communities and have contests against one another of who has the best patriotism and red, white, and blue lights. I know, Ruth, you've talked about how your neighborhood embraces patriotism and red, white, and blue, and that would be a place that people would want to have on a map and be able to know that they could go there and drive through a tunnel of lights. So there's so many options out there if we just start compiling it and putting all of the ideas together. So there's another option downtown. When we look at that wall, every time I run by it early in the morning, I think that wall is just begging for something to be painted there. So whether it's a giant mural with a quote or, a map of the United States, something really fun that would draw people there and make them want to take pictures and stop and shop and spend time. And it's an exciting option. So we wanted to share, moving forward into 2026, the real areas that we'll be focusing on. So that American Pie Trail has lots of potential. That's something that we can market and promote across the country. It's something that would have, a really fun pie logo that would land on our website, that we can be using on social media, that we can be driving people to. We can pitch that to the media. It has metrics around it. The pockets of patriotism with all the different areas for people to be checking in, to be taking their selfies, entering to win contests, but then also just flat out celebrating Branson and tagging Explore Branson and 250 in Branson so that we can measure and share and be showing what people love about the red, white, and blue that they're discovering in Branson. The patriotic path, I'm not going to stop talking about it until you guys tell me that you're not allowed to paint a street red, white, and blue. I think that it's something really fun and exciting. And if you say no to that, crosswalks with red, white, and blue stripes, you can picture it, right? When you think about any of the streets off of Commercial Street, even if it's just a little one, 2-block radius, not asking too much, that would be fun. And people could stop and take pictures of it. Right next to Liberty Plaza would be an ideal spot. Just throwing that out there. One flag for everyone. If we had an American flag for every household and we had pickup spots for people to get their flag, the visitor center would be a great spot where people can cross off their address, get their flag. Everyone hangs it on the same date and time, and then we go for the world record for the most American flags hung in a destination. I'm hoping that no one is trying to take our idea because we've said it publicly on the record so many times, because the only place right now that has that record is the United States Capitol for the most flags hung at a Capitol. So there is no community that holds that record. So we're really hoping that that's one that we will own. We would also like to encourage more parades. What's more American than a parade, right? A red, white, and blue fun parade for main holidays like Memorial Day, 4th of July, Labor Day, and then of course Veterans Day. We have patriotic partners already. We're talking with Silver Dollar City. They have red, white, and blue plans for all of 2026, starting in the spring, ending in the fall. And Hollister, we've included them in the picture as well. The Table Rock Chamber, Big Cedar. We're inviting everyone to the party so that we can extend this, and our boundaries will be a beautiful red, white, and blue ribbon that goes around all of us. The vacation guide will be someone keeps playing with my presentation. Hillary, is that you?
I'm sorry. So give us 1 second.
The vacation guide will feature a whole new cover. We're going to be using the front and back, so when you open it, it's going to be a beautiful, that's prime real estate. When you open up inside, there will be a story about patriotism from Branson. We would love for an essay contest to take place with our high school students, that they would write an essay about patriotism or celebration of veterans, something that's patriotic, and then they would win a placement in the vacation guide along with some scholarship dollars and find their piece published right there in the vacation guide. There's so many options with that. We've already talked about new stories that will be written. We'll have one that's obviously featuring the American Pie Trail. We've got our new Veterans Initiatives Manager working on content that's written specifically for veterans and service members to come on vacation in Branson. If you've seen any of the stories that have come out about the lack of affordability when it comes to a Disney vacation, now is the time to be telling our Branson story about a wonderful, affordable family vacation that can be had here in our destination, and specifically geared towards those veterans and service members. We would love to have the largest 4th of July party in Missouri. We've challenged Thunder Ridge to come up with just that, have the biggest, boldest fireworks show in all of Missouri, because we know that the efforts from the state are going to be focused mostly on the Arch. St. Louis Arch is where they're planning to have the statewide efforts. So we can compete with that. We can make this a place that people want to come and celebrate, and not just spend a day, but spend an entire weekend. And that gives us another option there with the FIFA World Cup. The last game ends on Friday, July 3rd. So we've talked with some of our transportation providers and tour operators. What if we chartered buses and there was a package vacation that people could purchase, knowing that they could leave their car behind in Kansas City, they hop on a bus, they come to Branson for 2, 3, 4 day itinerary, prepackaged and sold, and they get to experience all of the things, and they have the ease of transportation taken care of for them. And then when the trip is over, they hop back on the bus and head right back up to Kansas City. So packages like that are a reality that could be sold, and we would be engaging and involving our business community to be a part of all of that with it. So when we look at the budget, we've talked with Kathy and Alex about this at length, that it makes sense that we would start to focus our efforts away from the chief's energy for 2026 and really gear it towards this. But that's not the only thing that we can go after. We have the potential here to have sponsors. There's no reason that a local business wouldn't want to be the sponsor of, say, a section in the vacation guide that is about our students writing an essay and scholarship dollars along with it. There's no reason that a large vendor wouldn't want to be a part of a big celebration. When we look at 250 in America and the nationwide efforts, Coca-Cola has become the main sponsor for the efforts for the country. So there is a possibility and a potential there that we can have sponsors and additional sponsorship dollars to help come in and offset some of these costs, but then make it not that we're putting out ads and promotion that's just blanketed in logos, but rather drive it towards some directed initiatives, whether it be in email newsletters or on specific pages of websites or even promotional materials, not tying us and pigeonholing us into Branson sponsored by all these people, but really being strategic about how it could work. In addition to that, grant dollars. If there's grant funding that becomes available, I just became connected with the executive director of 250 in America, and we've started a conversation. What does this mean for smaller destinations like ours? What could possibly be done, or what is coming up in terms of grants and funding on the nationwide level that might be coming to smaller community levels that are dependent upon tourism? And she's like, it's time to have a conversation. Let's open that door up and see what we can do. So we're all in for that, and we will work hard for that rather than, having our hand out to the city and saying, okay, well, you've got to make it happen. Let us see how we can help offset that. Let us see how we can drive some economic value with this too and offset some costs, but still make it hugely successful and something that we can celebrate all year long, but then continue on and move into even more successful years after that. So we did want to let everyone know that our next 250 meeting, we had our first one initially that was on a Teams meeting, and we had, I think about 18 people were on that call. Our next meeting is Monday, April 21st. It's in the downstairs of our CVB office at 3 o'clock. Currently, we have about 50 people who are invited. We've opened that up to as many people as we can think of, and we'll be breaking up into groups at this meeting. We'll have work session, basically. Everyone will come in. You're not going to see me just standing there preaching to people. It's going to be breaking up into table work groups and talking about how do we help with the education effort? How do we help with the mural art effort? How do we help in these different sectors? So it's going to take a community embracing the effort and actively engaging and getting involved to make this as successful as it can possibly be. And of course, you all are invited. I'm sure it would need to be posted as a public meeting if you all attend, which we would love to have you there. And I think it'll be very well attended just from the amount of people who have been texting and saying, I shared it with this person, I shared it with this person. We may even have our own quilting group. There's a group in town who want to make possibly the biggest, best American quilt in the United States right here in Branson. So again, I know I sound like a broken record, but the possibilities and the potential are really limitless here. And why not go as big as we can? So now, questions?
I'd like to start off by saying thank you. This is a huge effort, and thank you for getting an early start on this, right? So this is March, and we're planning on all of 26. We're going to do, are there any things in this year?
Yeah. Yes, so we have some of the things that we've already got going in 2025. We've already started with some of the branding. We're starting to use that logo already. We're telling our story. We're already starting to pitch it and make sure that the media know what we're going to do. And now we're starting to price everything. You know, realistically, how many American flags do we need in this destination? What does that cost? One of the gentlemen who is in town that serves on our MOC board has already worked with Sherwin-Williams to get a really great discount in 2026 for all businesses who want it. So it's little things like that, finding things that can help offset some costs, but then us really drilling it down. What does merchandise look like? What would the selling of it look like? And what are the costs associated with everything that goes along with it?
I think that's very exciting. Any comments from the board?
I love it. I love the murals and the painted parking lot. Ever since you brought this up, I've been thinking about a way to paint my entire front parking lot. I just think that'd be so cool.
Oh my gosh.
You know what I mean?
That's amazing.
And I love the Coca-Cola. I can get you in contact with our rep that does a lot of stuff with us, and I think that'd be a good starting point.
Absolutely, we'll take
Because
anything.
We do several events a year that they donate a lot of stuff for certain fundraisers, so I'll be sure and get you his number.
That'd be great, thank you.
Artie?
We have a flag store here in town.
Yes.
Have you talked with them about putting something together, some type of a discount for?
Not yet, I ran by that place this morning, it's on my list. We're gonna be reaching out to them for sure. Thank you, sir.
Ruth?
Thank you, Heather. I am so excited about this project. We need to be who we say we are, and nobody does it better than Branson. Thank you so much.
I think that's one of the beautiful things about being in a destination that doesn't need to apologize or explain who they are. There's something to be said for authenticity. And when you know who you are and what you are, there's no reason to try to become something else. So faith, family, flag, and fun are the things that I listened when I had the job interviews, it's really clear. When you have your boundaries and your description, why not embrace it fully? And let's do what we can to make it even stronger and even bigger and bolder. And, you know, I do know that there have been some people who have been concerned about, you know, splashing red, white, and blue everywhere and blanketing our destination with red, white, and blue and rubbing it in people's faces. I think that there's one thing to falsely cover your destination in something, but there's another thing to authentically represent it. And part of the beauty of this is that the community already embraces patriotism, right? And everywhere you go, people think service members and veterans, and there's recognition, there's the Pledge of Allegiance, and there's honor and recognition in that. This isn't just a blanketed red, white, and blue. This is taking it to a level that celebrates patriotism, which transcends any political boundary. It's pride in one's home and one's country. And that happens around the world. People are not afraid to be proud of where they're from in any other country. Why wouldn't we be? And what's even better is when you visit, I don't know how many of you have traveled internationally, but when you travel internationally, they love America. And I can't tell you how many places I've been to, they love things like Route 66, classic Americana, neon signs, all the things that we kind of like, oh yeah, that's home, right? Well, why not embrace it even more and give them more of a reason to come and celebrate here? And if that puts us on a map that makes us stand out a little bit, why not stand out for something to be proud of?
You know, one thing I had an idea about, Heather, is, you know, we don't really have, other than the black Branson logo on a white flag, we don't really have an official flag of Branson. You know, the patriotic letters, maybe over the Missouri flag, kind of, you know, it's just an idea, but it could be kind of cool. And it could maybe be a way to instantiate those patriotic letters long-term, more than just the 2026 year. So it could be kind of neat.
For sure, good idea.
Anybody else?
I was going to say, if Clay's booked that particular weekend, I'll go ahead and fill in for him.
Well, you could be a guest. From what I've been told, she's a really good cook on that show, so the food is excellent.
So they need
And-
somebody to eat the food.
Me and
Like
Clay
they
can
get-
throw down some food.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
like
eat,
the
you eat and I'll
people-
sing.
Yeah, the people come around from the campground and they end up wanting to eat the food with them because she's such a good cook. So
Well, and,
we'll make sure the invite goes out.
and to your comment about, you know, the authenticity of the flag, you know, been living in this community for 27 years, and it's the cornerstone of what you feel when you enter this community. And, you know, the 250th is just us putting on that suit of armor and that flag and representing what truly is our core. And, you know, so the idea of that it gets gaudy or anything, I don't think you can get too gaudy with it. I think it's definitely, we definitely identify with it. And, you know, there are multiple communities. And the community I'm from is very, you know, kind of down to earth and loves the country, also in South Louisiana. But in Branson here, we represent that very well. And I don't think there's anything that you could say we can overpaint red, white, and blue in this community. I think it'd just enhance every aspect of it. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Glenn?
First, Heather, I just want to say thanks for your leadership in this whole thing. It really is showing, and I think it's critical, as you've identified, to get going early on this. So thank you, and of course, to Pam for taking the bull by the horns and whipping this thing into shape. It's really sounding great. A couple of things I didn't hear it mentioned, but I just want to confirm, is C of O engaged in this discussion
Yes.
as well?
Yes, I'm not sure if you know this yet, but they already have a jam. It's called Red, White, and Blueberry, and we're going to make that the official jam of the destination. Yeah, and we've even asked them to come up with a red, white, and blue ice cream.
Yeah, and just their general leadership of veterans events and veteran recognition, they've just naturally belonged to be a part of this, and they're such a gem to our area here that it's great that they're
Yes.
included. The other thing I just wanted to mention, I love all the mural concepts and things. The Historic Downtown CID had been talking about murals for their last several meetings as well. And I appreciate the clarification. We had this discussion with staff just earlier this week, Marshall Howden and I, about what qualifies as a mural versus signage and advertising. And I think you said it well, as long as the business name or products aren't represented on it, you're basically free to do what you want. So I would hope that you'd be able to provide more ideas, more guidance, more creative thought to all of our businesses as to what they might want to do. We certainly have a lot of capable walls in downtown Branson, and I know throughout our theater district as well, there's plenty of areas, like Clay pointed out, that could really take advantage of that and really show off what Branson is all about. So I think that's fantastic. The other suggestion I mentioned to you a couple of times, I'll just keep it in front of you till I hear you say it back to me, is I also think we're capable of an electric parade downtown in downtown area, Branson Landing Boulevard, a rolling road closure, 15-minute fantastic parade sponsored by businesses that just comes out in an electric form, sort of like they do at Disney in Florida. You know, it's here, it happens, it's gone, it's scheduled, it's regular, it's fantastic. I think we're more than capable of that kind of event to honor the celebration as well. You mentioned fireworks with Thunder Ridge. Have you also talked with the landing folks, HCW, about their fireworks display and what they might be capable of there? Because they do a fantastic July 3rd display, which most people associate with the city as the city fireworks. And, you know, certainly I think they'd be interested in hearing about your plans and maybe even expanding that celebration.
Absolutely. They're on the list for that discussion as well. And I love the red, white, and blue nighttime parade, especially when we think about that downtown lighting that's going to be across and it be in red, white, and blue. That's fun. Yeah.
And I'm sure we could find area groups to work on the managing of that, sponsoring of it, and all those kind of things, so it doesn't all fall on your shoulders.
It would be great if we had somebody, you know, like a Liberty Electric sponsor that and all the options there.
Yeah, there's people out there that would probably love to do that thing. So again, just thank you. Very exciting. Looking forward to all of it. Could you just comment on, you mentioned the $250,000 as essentially the current ask from Branson as an investment towards this. What are other communities that are involved in your planning, anticipating in terms of sponsorship?
So it's really interesting when I talk to counterparts across the country, and even when I went at the state level to the Capitol for Tourism Day with CVBs across the state of Missouri, when the question came up about what are people planning for the 250th, it was, oh yeah, we're not going to put any time or effort into that. It's just going to be, you know, it's 4th of July, whatever. And the only people who said something was St. Louis, and they said, well, there's going to be an extra special fireworks show at the Arch. And when we asked, well, has anyone thought about the potential and what it looks like, it doesn't ring true for them. There's not kind of a, you know, a feeling for it. Well, then I started reaching out to other friends across the country, and they have really active and engaged statewide 250th committees. Ours is not real engaged in Missouri. I've reached out countless times. There are, from what I can tell, 2 vacant seats for representation across the state, and no one has gotten back to me with, you know, I've flat out asked, can we have someone from Branson be on this? And no one's responded. I've been referred to 3 different people down the road. That's why I thought, you know what, I'm going to go the nationwide level and see what I can get here. I'm making more progress that way. Being from Arizona, I can tell you that the state of Arizona has a 250th Arizona committee. They work very closely with the Arizona Office of Tourism. They have a plan, an objective, very clear, defined structure. Each state is different. Each city is different. The cities who have real patriotic efforts or a deep history rooted with this country have efforts. So if you go on the America 250 website, you'll see that there are really incredible road trips that are planned for people to follow across the country, different ideas. They're also doing a really fun contest right now for students to enter to win trips to national parks all across the country. So it really depends on where people are at and what forward thinking and efforts they're putting into it. It varies drastically across the country.
If there's some state committee that we're not getting their attention of, I'm sure there's a number of us sitting here that would be happy to work in
Great.
making sure that they pay attention to the ask from Branson.
Absolutely.
So just let us know who
Okay.
you've spoken with and how we can help. What about our local communities? You know, like I think of, TCED coverage, Indian Point, those kind of things. Are they contributing to the effort as well? Have you asked them for a specific amount?
So we have not come up with any dollar amounts yet. Right now, it was a general conversation we had for that first meeting. This next meeting, we're really going to start getting specific about what that looks like. And I have presented out at the Village of Indian Point and talked to them about what could their community do to embrace this effort. They're talking about different boat parades through the lake and having different lighting features. So they definitely want to be a part of it. We've invited Table Rock Chamber of Commerce to have a seat at the table. We've invited the Hollister Chamber of Commerce to have a seat at the table. So Hollister has been very upfront and yes, we want to participate. Table Rock has not been yet, but we feel like this next meeting, April 21st, when we get everyone together, will give everyone hopefully a better idea and understanding that this is big. This isn't just something that is going to be a one and done, but it really spans everywhere, the entire destination. Kirk Elmquist and I have been talking about how every baby who's born in our destination gets a onesie with this logo on it, and they're a 2026 semi-quincentennial baby, and think of the packages that we could put together with different businesses highlighted and a whole gift basket that every family could get for their newborn baby. It just becomes so much. It's so vast, and there's so many different levels to it. So we do need participation, and we will need sponsor dollars or grant funding or et cetera.
Yeah, great. Well, I'm glad you're getting ahead of that curve because we're probably 4 or 5 months away from budget issues for next year already. So it's not too early to start putting numbers on the table and having those discussions. So
Yes,
that's
for sure.
great. Yep. Well, thanks again for your
Absolutely.
leadership here. Appreciate
Absolutely.
it.
Thank you. My pleasure.
Anyone in the audience have any questions or comments? Marie? Yes, you do.
Marie Copeland. We don't live in the city, but we live in the county, and we spend a lot of money in the city. So this is something that I've mentioned to other people, but we have got 2 amazing walls in front of the new police station. Why can't we use them?
Oh, sure.
I mean, it's like that.
Yeah.
It's not downtown, it's something totally away from downtown, and I was told, well, it costs money to get that, what people want to do with that, evidently they wanted to brick it over or something. But paint a stinking picture on it. They've got some amazing pictures in, across from some of the places down in Hollister.
Yep.
I mean, those are beautiful murals. I mean, they could put up all sorts of things, from the police department, the different, Ira being, Springfield for 26 years, but they've got a lot of nice old cars. Put some of those on and make them in the red, white, and blue. But I mean, that's a place that people go by all the time. Yep. It's not downtown where it would be, just another one. It's a special spot. And for another year and a half, it'd give them something, and we've got a new building coming online here in another 6 or 8 months. So, I mean, it's just my piece of thought.
Maria, thank you so much. Marie, thank you. Anybody else have any comments? Hearing none, we are all excited. You're right. When I listen to you, the opportunities are endless. Getting community involvement is going to be key because there's so much we can do, right? So I'm looking forward to that meeting on the 21st. No comments from the board? So then I would, when were you planning on giving the presentation of the year-end 2024?
Mayor, that was scheduled for tonight during this session. We thought we'd consolidate so she didn't have to come back a separate time. But if you'd prefer, we can ask her to be our guest back again at the next Board of Aldermen meeting to present the year ends, if you would rather.
I would feel better if we did it as an agenda item on the board. Our community's used to getting that report on the agenda and not from a study session. Yeah.
Makes
So would
sense.
you mind?
Not at all.
Okay, so
All right.
maybe we'll put her on the next agenda. Okay.
Thank you all.
Heather, thank you. Pam, anything to add?
No, I just want to thank you all for your support. This is really important to us. We are, if you can't tell, we're a little passionate about 250th pride in our country. And I just want to give a shout out to Heather because we started talking about the 250th in 2024 before anybody else was talking about it because she recognized the opportunity that we have as a destination to do what we're doing today. And then when she started sprinkling that news to you all, you have been very supportive. So we're thankful for the city of Branson. We're thankful for this board, this mayor, for supporting what we're doing. And we are looking forward to having the very best celebration of anywhere in the country. And it starts right here. Heather's right. We don't have to pretend to be something that we're not. We already are. And a lot of communities are going to have to build from the ground up on it. They don't have the foundation that we do. So we appreciate you all. And thank you for the folks that came out tonight to listen about this because we do want the community to be very involved. We need your support. We need your buy-in. And to the restaurants, we need your pies. So anyway, but thank you again. We appreciate you guys.
And we'll get Angie involved with our convention center. Kirk, did you have anything you'd want to?
I just want to commend all of you for the Veterans Military Initiative.
You want to? Yeah, please. We often have listeners.
All brothers stick together. Kirk Elmquist, United States of America. Grateful to be here. The day yesterday at Fort Leonard Wood, handing off Cody to the former command sergeant majors that used to run Fort Leonard Wood, just created a bunch of fruit. And we now have every AUSA contact that touches the state of Missouri's phone numbers through the garrisons on the Army bases. He's an Air Force veteran, therefore he will then talk to Whiteman. He will talk to the National Guard down in Arkansas for inviting them here, active military.
Yeah.
People who are veterans around those bases aren't here. We got a ton of veterans that live here, that come here, wearing the black hat. But we're after that new generation of veteran We're after that active military person, like at Fort Leavenworth, who gets 1,200 new captains every year that stay there for a year, and they make a $1.9 billion impact on the city of Kansas City from that base. Well, they asked for 4 specific reasons on coming down to Branson. And we're building those bridges with that. And I want to commend you on this hiring and bringing Cody on the team and really putting your money where your mouth is on what really needs to happen and making these military people feel appreciative. The baby initiative that Heather and I were talking about, my brother was born in 1976, and he was born in March. And my parents came home in the red Chevrolet, 75 red Chevy, and he had a onesie on with Lima, Ohio, 1776 to 1976 birthday deal. They got a champagne basket and a steak dinner at a restaurant locally in that town. Every baby born that year, and those kids are turning 50 next year. And I think we can start to look at Tiger Woods is turning 50 next year. So when you start to look at that initiative, this is something that's going to last for that 50-year-old bunch coming in, during that time in their next 50 years. So tying our friends at Cox and Mercy and all the people that do baby work around here, I think just creates another initiative for our community. But there are so many wonderful things going on in our community. I was in an event with Pete Hershen on Saturday night. He's 90 years old, giving back to kids. I was with Joe White. They're going to celebrate a 100-year anniversary of Kanakuk. And I want to tell you, if you can't be inspired by those two cats, man, just put your hat in the ring and keep working. So I applaud all your efforts. Thank you for the good work and all the hospitality and really embracing not hanging up the phone anymore and hiring somebody that knows how to market a destination. Thank you.
Amen. Thank you, Kirk. With that, I would entertain a motion to adjourn the study session.
So moved. We
have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. Thank you very much. We'll start our next meeting.